Yes, hello, good morning London town, and welcome back to Step Up with Simply Greg. As you already know, Step Up with Simply Greg is all about elevating the mind and empowering you to make a change one step at a time. So what that basically means, we have an amazing guest every week who's a specialist at what they do, giving you the information you need to know in order to challenge you to challenge your better self. Today we've got an amazing guest today by the name of Pablo. No, not Escobar, but not Escobar.
Not Escobar.
We got Pablo and his amazing guest over here. He's an artist, he's an emerging artist doing amazing things at the present moment, and also has the release of his new project called No Label.
Yeah. No Label, mate.
How are you feeling, bro?
Mate, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good, man.
I can see that as well, man.
Ready
Bringing some
them.
good energy, man.
Ready
That's good. He said ready for them as well. Yeah, so today we're talking about the topic of discussion of the psychology of labeling, you know, and how that affects us as well. Because earlier on I was talking about the effect of that on children. I mean, many of us have heard that as well. You know, you're going to tell us your particular journey and story as well, whether it being labeled a bad child and so forth, and how that restricts you from actually going out there and doing amazing things. But then we're going to talk about how you managed to shake it off and become the person that you are today, being in tune with yourself and being more in control of yourself as an artist. But without further ado, just give us a brief insight on your journey and what has led you here to obviously bringing out this particular project, No Label.
Yeah, so basically, for those who don't know me, I'm Pablo, also known as Pablo Productions.
Whoop, whoop.
I've been working with a lot of artists in the industry.
That's it.
I worked in a studio called Unit 10 for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And in that, amongst them 15 years, I met gigs, a lot of the SN1 members, and I've produced for them, sound engineered for them. And I think I decided I want to be a rapper as well. I want to make a revenue of rap, producing and sound engineering. So I developed the rapping skills, you know what I'm saying? And I think it was difficult growing up as a kid because you've been especially in 1992 and all them the 90s and that you get labeled in school like, oh, you're a bad kid, you don't listen, you never do what you're told, and you just start to believe that, innit? You start to think, okay, all right, I'm a bad kid, innit? That's it, that's all I'm gonna be, do you know what I mean? So like, it's like when I grew up a bit and I started seeing what life was really about, I said, you know what, there's no point in listening to Tom, Jack, Bill, Mary. I'm just going to put my blinkers on and focus on what I want to do.
That's it.
And when you stay focused on your goal, you become a master of that. And then you can move on. You know, they say jack of all trades, master of none. You need to master one trade and then you can move on to the next. And then, you know what I'm saying?
That's right, because especially nowadays as well, in this particular generation with social media and everything, everyone's always watching what's going on to the left and right and trying to become someone that they're not, or, you know, trying to take on someone else's journey.
I think it's really dangerous, like, because like as an artist, rapper, I don't really listen to any other music. So purposely, like if I go to, like I come here, I listen to Wizkid, I go to someone else's house, I listen to, that's the only way I listen to other music. Other than that, I'm trying to listen to my own music to make my next song better than that. You know what I'm saying? I think if you live like that, trying to make your next song better than your last song, you keep going on and you keep being great, you know what I'm saying? But like if you focus on other, oh, he made that kind of song, oh yeah, I need to make a song like that, then you're kind of following his dream and you're driving away from yours. So I think everyone needs to focus.
I like that because it's almost like it's affecting your judgment as well, right?
Yeah, because you're in the same environment. You're both rappers, you're both artists, innit? So it's a competition almost, but there isn't, because it's healthy. You know what I'm saying? We need other artists, but you still need to be your own individual. You know what I'm saying? And once you've got your own individuality as a rapper, you're going places. You know what I'm saying?
And how was you able to come to, you know, doing your music the way you do it at the present moment, and also apply that same method of thinking into your music?
Well, I think it was just literally me being alone in the studio for long periods of time. Like when I was recording with gigs and Unit 10, I was just literally in the studio for hours, like making mistakes. And I think that's the key part. You got to make mistakes and you got to learn from them. Every mistake you make is a lesson.
That's it.
Do you know what I'm saying? So you make your mistakes, you say, okay, I did that wrong, I messed up there, I'm not going to do that again, I'm going to do it this way. and then you corrected your mistake.
That's it.
I've learned something, and you keep progressing, going on until you have no mistakes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's perfected. That's it.
Come on, you got it, man.
Pablo.
You got it, bro. You got it.
That is amazing. And what kind of challenges did you face along the way, especially being in such an industry as well, where there are labels to everything? You know, but yet you are now finding yourself and defining yourself in your artistry.
I think a lot of people wanted me to stay producing. Like, I still am a producer, I still produce, but I just focus on rapping as well now. Do you know what I'm saying? But people wanted me to stay as a producer or stay as a sound engineer, and I think that really limited my skills and what I could do. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I can only be an engineer. I can only, do you know what I mean? So I said, like, I want to do it all. Do you know what I mean? There shouldn't be any label to hold me and say, yeah, you can only do this or you can only do that. I can do it all. Do you know what I mean? So right. I thought, yeah, man, I might as well just broaden the horizon for myself.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do it, then why not?
Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely.
And that just goes to show there, not only you engineer, but also producer and then a rapper, like you mentioned, because people could have been like, oh, stick to engineer and just master my track for me quickly.
Yeah.
And then the producer is like, okay, cool, I like the track, but nah, don't jump on it. You can't feature like.
You see, as a wise rapper once said, user get used out here. Me, I get used because I'm useful. Do you know what I'm saying?
I like that. Say that again.
User get used out here. Yeah. Me, I get used because I'm useful. Quoting Morrison there.
I like that. Yeah. So tell me, what are some of the challenges and perils of allowing yourself to be defined by, you know, labels? How does that affect oneself?
Well, when you get labeled as something, you begin to believe it psychologically, like, as you're growing up, especially when you're young, because it's dangerous. Like, you get told you're this, you get told you're that. You're gonna grow up to just be that, innit? You know what I'm saying? The energy is there. You tell people, oh, you're bad. You're not. Like, people need to be. There needs to be other energies. Like, you need to tell them, yeah, man, you're doing well when you're doing well, because a lot of people like to focus on the negative energy as opposed to the positive. Yeah. So instead of saying, right, you did really well there, they'll say, oh, you did bad at this, you did bad at that. Yeah. And I think that energy really reflects in their future. You know what I'm saying? When they're trying to do their own thing, it's difficult. You know what I mean? Like, it's mad.
So would you say labeling in general is wrong, or is it just negative labels, and can they be positive labels, and can it work for us as well?
I think there can be positive labels, but I think the less we see the labels, the more we see people for people.
Wow.
And we don't see, this is this guy, and stereotypes and discrimination. You know what I'm saying? I think people are people at the end of the day, innit? And we're all people. Black, white, Asian. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in school. I was playing with Chinese. My best friend was Chinese. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't grow up seeing race. So I don't think I should still see race now. I should see people. You know what I mean? So I think... So
that was imposed upon you by society in itself.
Yeah.
Because of the social dynamics of how to kind of relate to someone, that he's black, he's white, and so forth, rather than, like you said, just taking someone for what they are.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just... I think it's sad, really, but hopefully, if I keep pushing this project, a lot of people will open their eyes to see, like, we don't need labels. Do you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily. I feel like a jar with no label on it. I could have anything in me. Do you know what I'm saying? I could have anything. I could be anything. You know what I mean? So. And
what are the positives towards that you were saying?
That you don't limit yourself. Like, you can. The opportunities are endless. You could do anything you set your eyes on, set your mind on. You could do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't limit yourself to just one dead end job. Just, you know what I mean? Like, you could be the biggest entrepreneur in the whole of your town. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, just don't give up. That's what I think, man. I think everyone's destined for greatness.
Amazing there. Those were wise words there by Pablo himself. We can quote that. Everyone is destined for greatness. So thanks for giving us an insight, obviously, of your journey, you know, to becoming the artist that you are at the present moment. At what point did you come to realize, you know what? Bun this. I'm not going to allow myself to be confined by what Tom, Dick and Harry says. When was that point? I
think it was like, I was just playing around in the studio, innit? And I created a track, and it really appealed to, I was like, wow, I can create songs, like lyrics and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's important that as an artist, people get to hear what you got to say, and you get a message out there, more than just you're just saying stuff. You get a message across, you know what I'm saying? So I thought, wow, that's a really good idea. Like, I could really do that. And I thought, yeah, man, I think if you stay focused on what you want to do and keep your mind set on what you want to do, and you keep trying, like, you can't go wrong, you know what I'm saying? And like, for me, it was difficult because like I've been producing and sound engineering for so many years, but on the plus side, I've seen so many artists do it. So I thought, you know what, this isn't really that difficult, do you know what I mean? So that I just took it upon myself to just try and master it. And even now, I still ain't found myself. I haven't found myself as an artist, but I feel like I know myself enough to know where I'm going. It's again with the blinkers, innit? You keep listening to, obviously I listen to other music, innit? But when I listen to my music, I'm my worst critic. I'm very critical. I think of what I can do to better it, what I can do better next time. And I make sure I apply that in the next song. And I think these are the important keys that people need to make when they're creating a project, because every song needs to be better than the last song, and then the next song, and then the next song. And if you keep going like that, you're just going to be great forever.
Keep evolving.
Keep it up, you know what I mean?
Keep evolving. And that's the key as well. I mean, has your art affected your real life, or real life affected your art? I mean, how has this whole topic of labeling also affected your personal life in general, besides your art of music?
Well, it's like the whole no labels thing is affected, like so you see, you go through life and people say you're this, you're gonna be that, you can only live up to this. Your expectations are lower because you've been told, yeah, this is what you can get this job. You know what I'm saying? You're not encouraged enough, especially growing up. But once you can see that there's possibilities for you to reach, they're not out of your reach, they're in your reach. Once you see that, I think it's just the next step is believing in yourself, innit? You gotta have some self-belief in it. And I find that when I listen to my own music, I believe in myself.
And how do you detach yourself from all of that then? You know, all the naysayers and all the, you know, the things that has been said. How do you find that closeness of just shutting it off?
I think it's just the blinker. You just got to stay focused, innit? You got to know what your goal is. It's again trying to find yourself enough to blind everyone else out. So like a horse, when the horse is racing, they put the blinkers on the horse so he can't see another horse. And you know what I'm saying? You're focused on where you're going. Everyone else is going where they're going, but you need to focus on where you're going. And as long as you do that, I think that, yeah, you can't go wrong, mate.
And what's one of the challenging or worst challenges you've had to endure?
I think growing up in school was difficult because I was really, really disruptive. We all were. But like, while you're being disruptive, I think it's important, like I said, the negatives get shouted out more than the positives. And because all I heard was negatives as a kid, I grew up thinking, oh, all right, I'm just going to muck around. That's all I can do, innit? I just muck around, play around, class clown. You know what I'm saying? Class clown. But I think it's important to focus on positive. Because like since I've come out of secondary school, I've gone to university, I studied law, I studied psychology, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, possibilities are endless, innit? You just got to chase them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Because I was also mentioning to everyone else earlier on, for those who actually heard me, according to Howard Becker, sociologist, labeling theory takes the view that people become the label that you impose upon them, so long as they accept the label as their personal identity. And you were mentioning earlier on, obviously in school, you know, them labeling you a disruptive or a bad child and so forth, and you just continue to live up to that because that's the stigma they gave you, and that's the ceiling, the glass ceiling that was imposed upon you. So you end up actually acting out whatever has been actually called to you. How long did that go on for until you had to just nip that to a bud?
I think it went on for a while. I was lost in the system. I was lost in the whole life of gang-related, just stupid stuff, you know what I'm saying? Dumb crime. And I think it was really, funny enough, it was gigs that said to me, rah, like, you should stay in the studio, like, you need to come studio. And I think that kind of saved my life, do you know what I mean? Because, like, I was lost to the road, running around doing foolishness. And then all of a sudden, I got this guy, gigs, saying, yeah, come in the studio, record me, do this. And it kept me busy, it kept my time, and it helped me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Stay focused. So like, yeah, man, I think you definitely need to keep your eye on the prize, innit? And keep your eye on your goal and find out what your goal is.
That's it. But how do you do that?
So you got to just sit and think. I think a lot of time I spent just thinking and reminiscing. I think meditation's good as well. But you just got to think about what you actually want, what is realistic. Because I know a lot of times we set goals for ourselves that isn't necessarily realistic. You got to be your own worst critic. You got to challenge yourself. You got to say, okay, I can't do this. This isn't realistic. I can't do that. But I'm good at this. So you got to make this what you're good at pay you. You got to make it your career. You got to make it. You got to make everyone know that this is what you're good at. And once you do that, you can't go wrong, mate.
Where does the confidence come from?
I think, trial and error. I made a lot of mistakes in regards to music and just general. So once you see your mistakes and you acknowledge them, you get other people to their opinions, and then you don't certainly take their opinions to heart, but you take it into consideration. And then when you create your next project or your next whatever it is, you hold them opinions and you see, like, what can you change? What can you do differently? Once you release that, their opinions will change. They'll be like, oh my days, how did you, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Trust me.
So you kind of like take those opinions and put it on bullseye and be like, okay, let me make sure I hit that and make sure
every song I try to make, I make it specifically. So like people say, oh, you're hard, mate. How are you so hard? I say, bro, I made it so it is hard. I didn't make it so it's all right. Or that's good. I made it so every line is there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's to build up the punchline, to build up the message I'm trying to send. You know what I'm saying? It's all targeted. So I think that's what you got to be very professional with your music. You got to target stuff. Don't just rap and say that. Oh yeah. You got to be specific. You got to have a message. You got to have a drive. Once you have a drive, you're going places.
That's it. And what's the message in your music?
The message in my music is no label, innit? You can do anything. There's no limits. There's nothing holding you back. The only thing that's holding you back is you. Do you know what I'm saying? And once you get out of your own way, the world is your oyster, mate.
That's it. That's amazing. So these are wise words here from, once again, Pablo himself, here at Colourful Radio, giving us a lot of wise words and in order to obviously overcome the labels that society has imposed upon you. So what are the labels that you've allowed life to impose upon you, and how has that affected your identity? That's what we're talking about right now. So after the break, we'll be talking to Pablo once again more about his music, his latest release, and how exactly he's been able, and what he's planning to do for the future as well, but how he's been able to detach himself from the naysayers and also achieve some of the things that enabled him to now also perform as UK Glamour Awards recently. Don't touch that dial. Catch you on the other side.